Hello YouTube, I am back with another video. In this video I sort of want to go on a, small journey about my art style. Now I've been thinking for a while about how to do a video talking about style, since that is one of the most common things that most beginning artists think about. But the thing is, even I am sort of still on that journey. So I wanted to sort of go down the list of inspirations, influences that sort of make up my style today. This video is going to be a bit unorganized, so please bear with me. Now, one thing that sort of makes up my art style is the heavy lack of line art. I think I mentioned it once or twice before, but I cannot put up with myself to do line art. I feel like it ruins my flow when I'm sketching, since I am just gliding through the canvas. But when I try to do the line art, the rhythm, the energy is just lost. There are those artists that can do very clean line art, but I am just not one of those. Plus, it sort of doesn't matter since it's my painting style that pretty much overrides most of the lines that I make anyway. Most of you guys watching sort of already made the connection with my art style and Ishida Sui's art style, because yes, I'm in fact heavily inspired by his art. I mentioned in my analysis about him that he has a free-formed method of painting that I incorporated in my own style. I keep it very loose and I am not restricting myself in the lines that I have made. And another thing, color. I hinge my art style on the colors that I use. Even in my super old artwork, I just loved putting random colors in my paintings. I have sort of dialed it back a bit because sometimes it may come off as incoherent if I'm not using the colors right, so I did get sort of better with that now than I was back then. Next, I want to talk about texture. Before I went fully deep into digital art, I spent about 2 to 4 years practicing traditional oil and acrylic painting back when I went in art school. And let's just say in the span of those 2 to 4 years, I absolutely fell in love with the feeling, look, and texture of a canvas painting. So much so, I wanted to sort of replicate that in my digital art. I looked all over the vast web for digital art brushes that mimic oil paints. And I found the answer through this brush set that's on screen that I did talk about once in a video. I used this set amongst others to paint the piece that I'm painting on screen right now, and I'll be honest, I am very satisfied with the results. Another thing to mention is proportion. Now, personally, I tend to proportion my figures / portraits, etc. realistically. I used books like Andrew Loomis's Drawing the Head and Hands and referenced real-life people to sort of edge my art close to reality. However, it is not to say that anime and manga did not also impact me. It's just to say that instead of drawing noses, eyes, lips in a simplified form, I tend to paint everything fully. Like, I tend to paint the tear duct in the eyes, the nostrils on the noses, and the upper and lower lips. It's these small decisions that I actively make that I find appealing that sort of make up my style. And yeah, those are what I think would consider to be what makes up my art style for the most part. I don't do any line art, or rather go over my lines with cleaner lines per se. I paint in a free-formed style that's very loose, and I think some would say it's perhaps a bit too messy. I love using crazy colors in my artwork, and I could go very saturated all over the place sometimes. And I also implement textures here and there to replicate the feeling of traditional media, which sort of complements my messy painting style. Also, the brushes that I use also helps reinforce that feeling. And I tend to make my figures on the more realistic style, although I think my style sort of falls under the semi-realistic style, maybe? Tell me what you guys think. Do you think that accurately describes my style? Do you think my style is absolute trash? Do you see it like being a more anime and manga influenced style, or does my art style look like another artist's art style that you've perhaps seen somewhere else? Tell me what you guys think in the comments. If you like this video and want to see more art related things or art related videos, subscribe if you want to see more of that. You can also like the video if you want, and I would really appreciate that. I tend to upload once or twice a week if I'm feeling frisky, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Confessing while alone, without a clue, without a sign, without grasping it, the real question to be